After 2+ decades of trading and hundreds of thousands of trades executed, I'm starting over. Oh, just the thought of it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Now, no, I'm not really starting over. But if I were starting over, what steps would I take? What exactly would I do if I had to start my trading journey all over again? If you're new to this channel, my name is Rob, and I welcome you to Wealth Builders HQ. We teach traders technical strategies to build their wealth using the financial markets. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what I would do if I were to start from square one as a brand new trader. So first off, a little bit about me. For those of you that don't know who I am, as I said, founder of WealthBuildersHQ.com. I've been trading the market since 1997. I started training others back in 1999 and have been doing so ever since. I've trained over 100,000 individuals in the market, some one-on-one, many in very large groups, both online and in person. With what I've learned from 1997 when I first got started, I want to take you back to where I did first get started, and let's transition that into what I would do today. So if I go back to 1997 as a brand new trader, I was excited, I was nervous, I was absolutely freaking petrified because I had tried so many other things out there to try to make extra money, to try to figure it out, to try to find freedom, and none of them seemed to work for me, right? So when I went to that live training, that very first training that I took, all of those emotions were going on at the same time. I left there so inundated with all of the components crammed in my head of all these different strategies, and I loved every one of them. And I wanted to do all of them at the same time. So one of the things that I would do over is I would only pick one singular strategy to start with. Right? The next part was technical analysis. There were so many indicators. They introduced us to MACD, not Big Macs, MACD, moving average convergence, divergence. They introduced us to stochastics and RSI. Oh, but there were moving averages, right? That they introduced us to. And we learned about Bollinger Bands, and there was volume, of course, in there. And there was, see where I'm going with this? There were so many indicators. I had such this massive group of positions or indicators to choose from, and they wanted us to use all of them, and I didn't understand any of them, right? So I had to simplify, which is what I would do today, simplify the indicators that I use. For me personally, I have indicators that I use to pick candidates today. Volume, wildest average true range, help me to identify, does this one belong on a list or not? After I've done that and the stock made it to my list, those indicators are gone. I don't need them anymore. Right. From there, my primary indicators during the day are, regular trading, overnight, swing trade, day trade, are going to be Fibonacci and moving averages. Those are the primaries that I use. There are some others that I might look at, but they're more of the special circumstance. It's kind of like, I got a Ford that I own and drive, right? And it's all, regular wrenches, quarter-inch, half-inch wrench that are used on there. But all of a sudden I replace a bolt and it's got a metric head on it, right? I got to get a special tool for that bolt. Maybe I'm putting mud flaps on or something and it's a metric wrench. I don't use it all the time. I'll use it for that one thing, right? So I have indicators like that, but they're not what I would start out with. Certainly not things. They're more advanced indicators for me. So make sure you scale down the set of indicators that you're using. In my opinion, somewhere between 3 and 5 would be what I would be starting out with all over again. Right? When it comes to the strategy, I just want to circle back to that a little bit. When you look at what strategy you would start with, for me, the most basic, simplest strategy for you to focus on is buying calls and buying puts. Spreads are an amazing strategy. I've got a much better chance of being right, less profit potential, but much better chance of being right in the trade, which I will take all day long. I like the strategy, but there's more rules as a new trader. I have to sell something that I don't own, and it makes my head hurt thinking about it as a new trader. So I would make sure that I find that one strategy that I like a lot, and for me it was a channeling stock type strategy. And it was what I called channeling options. When I finally got there to the point that I said, enough, I'm not chasing after all of these strategies any longer, right? I was petrified which I said were one of the emotions, right? At the last day, towards the very end, I'm sitting in the training going, what am I going to do when I go home now? I don't even know where to start, right? I had no plan. They didn't give us a plan. So I would make sure that I would write out a business plan for myself. And I'm not talking like a McDonald's plan, right? How much am I starting with? As far as capital goes? What am I expecting to do as far as the number of trades, a day, a week, whatever time frame you're looking at, a month, right? How many trades would I normally expect to do? How many trades are too many trades? What type of trade? Is it buying calls and puts? Is it covered calls? What are the strategies that I'm going to trade in that account? Right? What options am I going to use? What's my delta range going to be? How much minimum open interest do I need? Am I looking for a certain amount of intrinsic versus time? What's the theoretical value? See, I would build out a plan with the pieces on there that I needed to be successful. Right? Having that plan, either you plan to win or you plan to fail. The phraseology is plan your trade and trade your plan. Right? As long as you do that, you give yourself the best opportunity to be right in the trade. So focus, if I had to take it down to one word, focus would be exactly what I would do. I would bring it down into a focus, right? As you wrap all of this up, you need to have very clear and defined path of what you're looking to do. But the greatest, most important piece for me was a gentleman named Vaskin. Vaskin Martin was his name. I met him at my very first training that I took right here in New York. I met him at that training, and he became a mentor to me. He kept me on a strict path. So making sure to have an accountability partner, someone that I can share my trades with, someone that can help me understand when I'm making mistakes or over trading, under trading, wrong strategy, wrong candidate. Having that accountability partner was huge. Now, I didn't have a whole lot of cash to get started with as a new trader, so I had to really be cautious on how to put the money into a trade. Well, stupidly, the very first trade that I did, I dropped $10,000 into that trade and lost 8 of it in a day and a half. And it's not even like I could have tried to get out. The stock had gapped down, the markets locked up, they closed. You couldn't get out of the trade, you couldn't close the option, you couldn't get nothing. I did the wrong trade for the wrong reason. So now I brought my very small account down to a really, really small account at that point. So I had to make sure that capital allocation was going to be right. So if I were trading with a small dollar amount, let's just say you had a few $100s. Well, you probably don't have a lot of choice. You could do 1, maybe 2 trades, depending on the positions that you're trading. But maybe 1 or 2 trades, I would allocate those monies into that. If you're trading with maybe $2,000, you're looking at maybe 2 to 3 equal dollar trades. $5,000 is probably 3 to 5 equal dollar trades. $10,000 is maybe 5 to 8 equal dollar trades. See, I don't care about the number of contracts. We use that in training because it's easy to multiply things by 10. So we use 10 contracts, right? Or multiply it by a 1. But if it winds up that you need 3 contracts at $13.78 each, now you got to start multiplying that in my head. $13.78 times 10 contracts, $13,780. Easy, right? But in reality, that's not how you're trading. It's how you're learning in that whole number. It's just an easier atmosphere to work within, right? So making sure that you properly allocate your cash, and not only in your trades, but into the tools that you use. I had to look at the various tools that I had out there and say, okay, what tools are available and what tools does Rob need to get started, right? I needed a broker. I needed a charting service, right? Things like that. What tools are you going to need? Oh, do you need a new computer? All part of your trading plan. So with all of that in mind, let's kind of do a quick recap. What do we talk about? Trading plan, capital allocation, indicators, strategy, various things like that. Take all of those pieces that I just taught to you and build them out for yourself. If you're just starting out, build those out for yourself as a trader of this is what a professional would do. So now I've got a guide of what I should do to get started. Until next time, make it a profitable day. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, you're just one trade away. Make sure to go ahead and check out some of our other training content right here.